Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Rowe. We're looking at Algebra 2A. This will be lesson number 2, where we're looking at numbers 2, 3, and 4. So here we're trying to simplify some expressions using some of the properties and some of the rules that we've learned in the lesson. So now if we look at number 2, this is a similar example. What we're trying to do is we're trying to distribute the number outside the parentheses to each term inside. This is kind of a precursor to using FOIL and some of the other techniques that you learned in Algebra 2 or Algebra 1. So what we got to do is we got to multiply 4x times 5x squared. And then we're going to keep the signs that are there. So minus 7x times 4x plus 10 times 4x. And anytime you multiply with variables, make sure that you watch the exponents, because here what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply 4 times 5, which is 20. And I've got x times x squared, which is x cubed. There's a assumed 1 right there, and 1 plus 2 is 3. So when I get to the next one, same sort of deal here. I've got 7 times 8, which is 28. And then each of these x's have an assumed 1 for an exponent. So x times x is x squared. And then finally, we've got 10 times 4, which is 40. There's nothing to multiply the x by, so it just comes along for the ride and sits right there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the final answer. We'll follow that same procedure for number 2 in the lesson. Okay, this one's like number 3. It's an addition problem. So anytime you're adding polynomials, what you have to do is you have to put together the like terms. One of the easiest ways to do an addition problem is to set these up like you would have in elementary school, right underneath each other. So I'm going to move this thing underneath here, and I'm going to line up like terms. So x cubes and x cubes go together. X squares and x squares go together. And then constants and constants go together. And so now all I've got to do, since this is an addition problem, is to combine these things together. So what's negative 5 plus 7? Right here. Negative 5 plus 7 is positive 2, following the rules of addition. So if I add these two together, what's negative 6 plus negative 2? Well, that's negative 8. Now, I don't change exponents when I add or subtract, only when I multiply. So the exponent's going to remain the same. It's going to be squared. And the last one, I've got 7x cubed plus 6x cubed. Same sort of deal. 6 plus 7 is 13. And then I don't change the exponent for the value, and then there you go. That is the final answer. So just line these things up and combine the terms. As easy as that. This last one, this is like number 3. One of the more missed problems in the lesson because people don't pay attention to this. This is distributive property. So what am I distributing, Mr. Rowe? I'm distributing a negative 1 into this parenthesis. That's how you have to treat it. Technically, we could rewrite this as 12x plus 6 plus negative 1 times 9x plus 10. So if that makes you feel better and that helps you understand what you're doing, write it like this. We're still going to follow the same procedure. I'm going to multiply each term in the second parenthesis by negative 1. That's going to give me negative 9x minus 10. The first term will not change, so 12x plus 6 will remain the same. And again, just like in the last one, I'm just combining like terms. Now you can line this one up like you did in the last one too. since it's just 4 terms, it's just as easy to put them together like this. 12x minus 9x is 3x. And then positive 6 minus 10, negative 4. That's a final answer. So I hope this helps you out with lesson 2. This is numbers 2, 3, and 4. If you're still struggling with these, please let me know in a teacher message or make an appointment for a help session.